Hey what's up guys, it's Red here with another Chainsaw Man video. Today's video is all about Primal Devils. Anyways, make sure to leave a comment down below if you have any questions or want to add anything. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Thank you so much for 1k and hopefully you guys continue to support me to help me get to 2k. Or at least 1.1k. I've also been recently accepted to the YouTube Partner Program, so I've been able to add super chats and channel memberships. So if you want to help support me, please do so. If you get the channel membership, you get exclusive emotes and a badge beside your name. Not to mention other perks, and additional perks will be added as long as more people join the memberships. But either way, let's just get into it. What are Primal Devils? Well, to cut it short, Primal Devils are transcendent devils who have never once experienced death due to their incredible power. Primal seem to be ancient fears/concepts that have existed for a very long time. These incredibly powerful devils, as stated before, have never experienced the cycle of death and rebirth that other devils have experienced. Even powerful devils like the War, Gun, and Hell devils are nowhere near the strength of Primal Devils. Primal Devils are so incredibly powerful that the only option someone has if they encounter them is just to die, somehow escape their vicinity, or outsmart them. Even if you try to kill a Primal Devil, they would simply regenerate, as their regeneration is the best in Chainsaw Man. Primal Devils predominantly stay in Hell, and they presumably have the ability to leave Hell if they desire, as we've directly seen 3 out of the 4 confirmed Primal Devils use doors that connect the human world and Hell. And while the 4th one hasn't been directly shown to open doors between Earth and Hell, we know that she hasn't died since she's death herself. But this just shows how powerful Primal Devils are, as they're able to leave Hell without dying. As the only non-Primal Devils we've seen use the doors is the Hell Devil itself and Pochita. However, I'm gonna talk about Pochita later. Anyways, Primal Devils have incredible destructive capabilities. Like, if they decided to go to Earth, they would probably just kill everyone. And aside from the Death Devil and Nostradamus' prophecy, the Falling Devil was casually using her powers, yet she caused massive devastation around the globe due to manipulating gravity, even though she was only in Tokyo for a single night. Also, not every Primal Devil is born equal, as they all have their strengths and weaknesses, and the Death Devil is said to be the strongest of them all, as she's an unstoppable force that is destined to cause mass destruction even if she doesn't want to. But whatever, we've only seen 4 confirmed Primal Devils in Chainsaw Man, so I'm gonna go in order of their appearance. Kinda, but you'll see, as the first one I'll get into is the Darkness Devil. Well, the Darkness Devil was the introduction of Primal Devils to the series. And what does it do? Aura farm. Okay, but seriously, as amazing this fight is, it's like super short. Darkness first appeared in chapter 64, and it last appeared in chapter 66. 3 whole chapters. Well, technically like 2 chapters, since it appeared halfway through chapter 64 and the characters left Hell almost near the end of chapter 66. While we didn't see Darkness for that long, it did leave quite an impression. Not only did it permanently disable some characters, it even killed a handful of them. So I'll get into its abilities, as it not only seems to encompass darkness, but seemingly the fear of unknown as well, with its entrance being just to aura farm, as it summons astronauts split in half while it seems like they're praying. They don't really serve much of a purpose but to just make darkness look cool. Kidding, of course, as it seems this is what the Darkness Devil does to manipulate the darkness that surrounds the area. And obviously the significance of astronauts is because of space. And what's darker than the void of space? Since, you know, it's the dark void of space. Anyways, the next ability it uses involves a frog ribbiting. When the frog, which is presumably not a physical thing, ribbits, the Darkness Devil seems to suddenly move fast or teleport to its targets, and its targets instantly have their arms cut off. So outside of it just being very powerful, the frog's significance could be just a random ambient noise, as frogs typically ribbit during the nighttime, which is for different reasons like a mating call or claiming territory. And the reason as to why it removes a foe's arms is because the Darkness Devil is trying to remove any senses that help people in the darkness. So when it's dark, you use your hands to feel around so you don't bump into anything. So the Darkness Devil removes someone's sense to touch. The next ability we see is Darkness just pulling a devil out of nowhere. In this case, it was the Stone Devil. Honestly, Darkness could probably do it because it's a Primal Devil and it could just summon devils due to his strength. Or this ability could make sense as Darkness could do it because, like I said before, people use their hands to search around in the dark and find something they're looking for. Which is why it's shown that the hands behind the Darkness's devil's back are the ones grabbing the other devils, making it seem that Darkness isn't seeing what it grabs. Anyways, the Darkness Devil is also shown to just point at foes and they get cut up / damaged in an instant. Which is probably what happens to when the Darkness Devil says this. Which doesn't mean anything and it's probably an ancient / forgotten language that we don't know. And it speaks that way for it to be more mysterious / alien to the characters and us the readers. Darkness is also shown to have some sort of force field to block hits. This force field is probably the surrounding darkness that is manipulated to protect the devil. So, the second to last ability we see is that hands come in front of all the heads the Darkness Devil has in a prayer-like position, which instantly mangle and twist the Darkness's Devil's target. The Darkness's Devil's final ability that we see involves a bell chime, and it summons a sword made from its darkness to strike any opponent. Obviously, the reason it summons a sword could be the fact that darkness makes it very easy to conceal weapons. And it's really something you fear since you can't see if someone has a weapon or not. But let's go on to the devil's design. As you can see, darkness is inherently inhuman with its head. And like the other primal devils, darkness's body is made up of different human body parts, which are contorted and twisted in many ways, almost looking like the quote-unquote people are being tortured. It also has a pretty cool cape, as it's made out of darkness and it's obviously used so that the darkness always has a shadow to heal and use its abilities. The more interesting part in my opinion are the 4 human-like heads on darkness's chest. The bottom seems to just be missing its eyes, the one above it has its eyelids stitched up and no nose. The one above that one has its mouth stitched up, and the top head is the worst by far as it's missing everything. The symbolism is that they're missing the different sensations that darkness takes away. The only sensation that seems to be around is hearing, as all of them have ears. I think the reason this is the case is because most of darkness's abilities use noise, like the bell chime, the frog ribbit, and the ancient / forgotten language. So yeah, darkness is pretty awesome, but it's the one that has appeared in the least amount of pages. So anyways, let's get on to the next primal devil, the Falling Devil. Falling first appeared at the end of chapter 122, and chapter 123 is when we see her iconic chef outfit. Firstly, I'll talk about her abilities since those are pretty simple. Falling just manipulates gravity. Like, she could do whatever she wants, like flying, to just changing gravity in a certain location, and using gravity to straight up destroy buildings or pick them up to launch it at her enemies. Her abilities are very effective. So effective that the Falling Devil messed with gravity from around the globe just by casually using her powers. And even when they were directed at something, it wasn't like it was difficult for her. Falling's other ability was to bring up traumatic experiences of individuals, causing them to quote-unquote fall into a deeper depression or something like that. While that happens, they're distracted enough so that their gravity is reversed and they get sent to hell by a door in the sky. AKA, that means they're falling into hell. And like I said, the quote-unquote falling into depression or something over past traumatic experiences and guilt fits into the whole falling theme, even if it isn't actually about falling from a high place. Another miscellaneous ability is that falling could shoot beams of energy, or just instantly damage an opponent, like it did with the Justice Devil, but it's probably due to something with gravity, or maybe she's just very powerful as a primal devil and she could just do that. Now, Falling's appearance and personality is a bit strange. Aside from being made up of a bunch of corpses like the other primals, she looks more quote-unquote human than darkness and aging. And like, why is she a chef? Well, it's probably because Fujimoto is a big movie nerd and likes the movie The Menu, which was released around 4 months before the introduction of the Falling Devil. And in-universe reasoning is because Falling was actually one of quote-unquote Fami's pawns. But without getting into quote-unquote Fami yet, quote-unquote Fami's true ability is that anything she kills turns into her pawn. And quote-unquote Fami usually does this by consuming her target. So Falling's job is to make and serve dishes for Fami. So Falling being a chef fits with her role in the story. Anyways, the next one up is the Aging Devil. So before we actually get into its abilities, let's talk about Aging's name. Apparently in Japanese, the name is more specifically growing old / old age. So it makes more sense as to why the old people wanted aging to be consumed by Pochita, as it would probably get rid of the negative effects of old age and not actually get rid of aging as a whole. But whatever, the whole idea was a bad and selfish plan. Anyways, aging has some pretty strong abilities, like it can rapidly age a target, which is what aging did to Yoru, or like how aging turned Pochita into a tree. Aging also rapidly ages objects as well, like the gun goddess bullet that was turned into dust. Oh, and apparently aging probably stops time. The reason why I think it's the case is because Yoru is stuck in the same position she was in when she fired the bullet. Not to mention, if she saw aging disintegrate the bullet, she would not be smiling. This then leads to Aging's world. This is another world that aging can send living beings into. This place looks like it's in the wild, in the middle of nature. In this world, people don't age, or even die, and any devil powers don't work within this world. And with people being unable to age or die, they eventually turn into trees. In universe, not even the aging devil understands why living things kinda just do that. In real life, the human trees are definitely a reference to the ones from Dante's Inferno, which in Dante's Inferno they are alluded to be people who have committed suicide as they become quote-unquote forever young. Again, this could be the explanation as to why Fujimoto chose people to become into trees if they don't age or live long enough. Anyways, obviously all these abilities stay in theme of aging and time, and it makes sense as to why aging can do so. Either way, aging's design still looks like it's made up from mangled and twisted corpses like the other primal devils, and aging sits on a throne made of body parts. Though, aging still looks a bit more quote-unquote human than darkness. So yeah, I guess it's time for the final primal devil, and this one is the strongest. The Death Devil. Yay! She finally showed up in Chainsaw Man! Oh, wait, that's actually Famine, and the real Death Devil is Fami? Oh, yeah, I kinda already talked about death in my 4 Horsemen video, which aged bad in the second half. But can you blame me? The video came out before the real Fami showed up. Anyways, I already explained Death's appearance, and in my opinion, it should stay the same as she was pretending to be the Famine Devil. So Fujimoto purposely made her look like she has connections with scales, like how the Famine Horseman from the Book of Revelation uses scales. And Fujimoto also made Death eat a whole lot. But now that we have the whole reveal, I have different explanations to her actions. Like the eating thing could be that Death was trying to fill the empty void in her torso, which is literal as she removed all her organs. Her head tilt thing could be how someone looks like if they were hung with the rope making their head tilt. But yeah, outside of that, she looks just like a normal human. If anything, the 4 horsemen have an actual devil form, but take the form of humans to blend in and hide in plain sight. Though with the new explanation of Death's abilities, we see that she could turn anything she kills into a pawn. So in the story, Death quote-unquote killed and consumed Fake Saw and the real Fami and made them into her pawns. This also means that Death quote-unquote killed Falling, which should remove Falling from the status of a primal devil, but in my opinion, Death quote-unquote killing someone is different and not actually considered as a true death, since if it was, Fami should have been sent to hell and not be the same Fami we just met in the story. Anyways, I want to go into a potential primal devil. In my opinion, I think Pochita could potentially be a primal devil. I'm not gonna go into his identity, but I actually did that in my previous video about Pochita, so go check it out after this video. Anyways, why do I think that Pochita could be a primal devil? Well, we never heard about Pochita dying. All the 4 horsemen say that when they defeated Pochita, he always came back later. Not to mention the fact that Pochita has healed from injuries that would have killed any non-primal devil or ones with contracts like Makima. Like, no devil would survive ripping its own heart out or getting decapitated multiple times. So, Pochita is either near primal devil strength and regeneration, or is a primal devil. I mean, even his ability of erasing devils is as insane as primal devil abilities. But yeah, I just wanted to toss this in for a little speculation / theory making. Anyways, that's all. Make sure to stay tuned for more videos in the near future and leave a like and subscribe for more. Again, become a member if you want to get some cool perks. Anyways, my videos are voted on by you guys, so go look into my community posts to see any future polls. So yeah, thanks for watching.